Hey everybody, Robot here for Vespa Motorsport and ScooterWest.com. So here I have a brand new 2025 GTS 310 in the Verde Relax. So there's a couple new colors along with the traditional colors that Vespa has had for a while. They re-engineered the top case. So this top case has had like about a 10 or 12 year run. It looks identical to the outgoing model. First things first, there is no backrest pad included, so that will be an eventual optional accessory. As of right now, they're not available here in the United States. Pretty much the same thing, you got to drill 4 holes to mount that top case pad. I kind of like them without the top case, and even as a passenger, you really don't need the pad. It's just there kind of to tie together the looks of the seat. But there's been some good improvements to this case. Along with the #1 thing you need to know about this case, you have to use this case with the original Vespa folding rack. So the part number on this rack here is GTS 24PA. On the Scooter West web store, we also carry them in black. You can watch my prior videos, like about 2 videos ago, I show how to install this rack. Real straightforward to install, but the best things that are to be found about this new case is you no longer need any tools to install it. It used to be quite a complicated installation on a folding rack, including trimming. You actually had to cut parts of the case to make it fit. Now they just have a new mechanism, opens just like the classic top case with a key. You have this locking mechanism and a single wing nut, and that's all you need to remove and install the case. So pretty much you put that to the free position, spin this off, and then you can just click the case right off. Not quite as easy as like a Shad or a Givi top case with a proper plate that they mount to, but much easier than all the prior generations of the GTS case. And another thing about these cases, they've always been known to break right here, and they have some goofy limit straps that were kind of in the middle of the case. This has all been re-engineered, similar to the Primavera case. So the limit straps are all integrated into this hinge design. And best of all, the hinge has been drastically improved. So they even have a nice little painted cover on the hinge. Includes these little foam things to keep the rattles down. And there's these 2 rubber blocks right here, kind of to isolate the top case. And the hinge is just much larger than the outgoing model. So let's get right to it. Super simple to install. Another thing is, since they don't include the backrest pad, they are a little less costly than the prior model. And of course, they come in all the newest colors, color match to match your new Vespa. So new generation top case, kind of show you how the mechanism works under here. You could see there's this locking mechanism that has pretty much a coin. You could use a coin or a flat screw that locks this whole entire lever. And then there's also this threaded wing nut that goes through. So this thing clamps down onto the rack, and this hooks onto the rack. It's a little tricky to get it in place, so we'll get right to it. So first things first, you need to fix the rack, the Piaggio folding rack, in a low position, just like that. Put that clamp in there. Go ahead and open the top case. Take extra care not to drop it. Comes with a little mat. Set that aside. So there's a couple things you're going to see in here. So I'm going to try to hold this up. So that thing's on the free position. There's also a lock position, but more importantly, you need to remove this little wing nut that's in here. So definitely a little easier than the old generation of mounting these to the folding rack. Just keep in mind, it's definitely not compatible with any other rack. Definitely none of the flat racks. Who knows, they may come out with something in the future. So that little wing nut comes out. There's also a washer in there. Either leave that in place or kind of separate it. You're gonna stay out of the way. You got the locking mechanism out, and we're gonna drop that right in front of where that clamp is. And you see these 2 teeth on the back right here. They need to kind of go right over that, and go ahead and center it the best you can. You're gonna wanna push it, and at this point we'll go ahead and open up the top case. and install the wing nut. And you may need to press down, push the whole case down a little bit to get it to seat, especially that first time. And once it starts, go ahead and just keep on twisting until it closes up that mechanism. And take quite a few turns with the wing nut in here. And pretty much go about as tight as you can go by hand. Don't want to bend the ring, but just about like that. So it's on there. Go ahead and set that aside. And last things last, you want to turn this extra locking mechanism to the lock position. All right, so go from the free to the lock position, and now the case is fixed onto the folding rack. Comes with this little carpet, kind of covers part of it. We do have the optional carpet that fit the original top case, so we'll kind of cover everything if you want to cover this whole mechanism, because this little well right here does have a little drain for moisture if it ever gets in there. All right, so last things last, they include the heavier bar and weights to kind of balance things out. T25 Torex to remove these little shorty bar ends. Kind of like how these little shorty bar ends look, but top cases have always include the much larger bar end. Don't worry if there's that, what I like to call pig's knot under there. That's the adhesive for the grip. You're only gonna find that on the left side. And these are identical between the left and the right. Go ahead and get a 5mm Allen. And repeat with the right side. Robot here from Vespa Motorsport. I don't know, a couple miles above Pond Springs and headed up to those mountains behind these trees. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.